Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. We want to welcome everyone again to this class. I'm sure every one of us have been dropping a lot of comments. When are we starting? We've started already, and I sincerely want to apologize to every one of us for coming in a bit late. But without wasting much time, I'm just going to quickly introduce our facilitator for today. And of course, I would hand over the class to him so that we all can start immediately. So today we are going to be talking about generative AI. Generative AI. Many people were asking, is it for a student that applied for AI, artificial intelligence or something? No, it is for every one of us. So everyone with your favorite emoji, with excitement in your heart and ready to learn today, please make welcome our facilitator for today, Mr. Oluwole Olajide. Mr. Oluwole, are you in the studio with me this evening? Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening. Actually, yeah.
Yes, hope you are ready for us. So, Mr.
Yes, I
Oluwole,
am.
without wasting much time, I'm just going to hand over to you immediately. Please enjoy your class.
All right, thank you. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, um, wherever you are. It's great to be here this evening, doing what I love doing. My appreciation goes to Incubator Up. And Yano, thank you for being a fantastic moderator. So we'll just go quickly to our class because of our timing for this evening. We'll be talking about generative AI, looking at generative AI, digital opportunities, and challenges. Also, there are myths also. So let me quickly share my slide and we can start. Okay, please just hold on for a few seconds while it uploads. Then I can share my screen. So while we go on before my slides come up, um, what is generative AI? As we all know, a lot of people have said a lot of things about what AI is, what AI looks like, and some people have said, in fact, so many funny things about AI, and then you begin to wonder what is going on about this great technology. AI is nothing more than AI is nothing more than just a system or series of systems that have been taught to learn. They've been taught to learn and carry out a uh, um, specific task based on the training that they have been given. So I hope you can see my screen now. If you are there, if you can see my screen, just chat me with your emoji. Can we see my screen? Moderator, can you please allow me to share my slides?
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think the student should be seeing this slide now because, of course, we're good to go from this end too.
Okay. All right.
All right, I
Thank
think
you
we are
very
good
much.
now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right. So, generative AI, digital opportunities, and challenges. As I said, what is AI? AI is a field of study that encourages the use of machine technologies, machine models and modules to actually carry out specific instructions that it has been given. And if you look at the your screen, and you can see the little diagram that you have here, you can see that AI is the body that encapsulates ML, that is machine learning, and deep learning and generative AI. So there's a link between each of these system. So artificial intelligence is that study that encapsulates machine learning. You can see that machine learning focuses on creation of intelligent machines that learn from data. Then you can see also that it's also deep learning is also a subset of what machine learning based on what artificial neural networks. When you talk of artificial neural networks, what are we talking about? We have seen systems that are being modeled to work like the human neurons, to be able to perceive instructions, learn patterns. Then we now come to generative AI. What is generative AI? It's a type of ANN that generates data that is similar to the data it was trained on. So it works on what? Artificial neural networks. When we look at that, they look like big grammars, but it's just as simple as just working like your like the way we are trying to mirror what the human mind should do, what the brain should do. So I say here, generative AI refers to systems that can generate content based on data they've been trained on. But it is beyond that. It is beyond, beyond that. Generative AI goes beyond that. Look at it here, neural networks. This is the human neuron. This is the human neuron. The first image you can see is the human neuron that contains the dendrites, the cell body, the axon and terminus. So what have scientists, computer scientists, and great minds done? They've been able to mirror what you have on the top here and put it into a machine so that the machine can also react or behave the same way your normal neurons work. So you can see you have input one, input three, four, five. Then it weights it, then calculates the weights sum. It sees if there's a bias in that input, then uses what we call activation function. Activation function is just like a form of feature engineering, trying to check, okay, what are the features that are necessary for me as the AI to give the desired output. And that's what you're seeing here. So a mirror of the human body neurons is what gives us what the neural networks that you have in them, artificial intelligence or AI. So I said generative AI models use artificial neural networks or simply neural networks to extract information. So what are these neural networks? They are just simple mathematical functions. They're mathematical functions that have been formed in layers. They've been arranged into layers. So you're giving them a depth of sense. And that's why when people say deep learning and people say machine learning, there's the difference between deep learning and machine learning is just because the depth of nodes that have been put into the machine learning. So into the machine learning to give us a deep learning. So if a deep learning model has maybe, let's say, a depth of about, let's say, 10, then you are talking of a machine learning has a depth of about 10. Then when you talk of deep learning, maybe it's having a depth of about 50. And that's where you find more models like ResNet 50 and DesNet 121. So when you talk of 121, it means it has 121 layers. And what are these layers doing? These layers are simply what? Extracting what? Information. So the more the layer, the better the system can what? Can predict, can perceive, can give desired what? The desired output that is needed. Now, there are also what we call transformer models, and this is what form the basis of generative AI. Different from the deep learning I'm talking about us having stack of layers. Transformers, what do transformers do? Transformers has what is called self-attention mechanisms. What are self-attention mechanisms? Self-attention mechanisms are those codes that breaks down your data sets into more into nodes, into batches. So what it does is that it picks batch by batch and learns what the data does batch by batch. So just imagine you trying to create a model that wants to, or a generative model that you say, okay, please can you differentiate between a cat and a dog? So what it does is that the model has been trained on what are the features or special characteristics of a cat that differentiates a cat from a dog. So what it does is that it takes the face of the cat and breaks them into pixels. When you talk of pixels, it means that what? Into pieces. When you talk of, when you look at pictures and you see a whole picture, a picture is an embodiment of what? Of pixels, bringing back a bit by bit of colors together with the image, which gives us a complete image. So the same way transformer model works, it has an encoder which the input goes into. So the encoder trains what you on the data, on the input, attending to each section of that input on its own. Then it sends it to the decoder. Then decoder what Feed forward. When you talk of feed forward, what is feed forward doing? It looks at what has been done by the encoder and tries to give a desired what? A desired output. Also, there's what? Self-attention also embedded in what? In also the decoder. So when you hear anything about a generative AI, this is what happens behind generative AI. Without these transformer models, and that's why you see names like Chat GPT. What is this saying? When you see the GPT is a chat box, but the GTP means what? Generative pre-trained transformer. So that's the meaning of your GPT, generative pre-trained transformers. So generative AI, as we said, a subset of artificial intelligence that focuses on creating new content. You find out that there are generative AI that creates text, convert text to images, images to text, audios that even based on codes also that can generate codes for you based on what learned patterns from existing data set. Nothing happens without a system being trained. Exactly. So they have to be trained on patterns to understand, okay, when I look at this kind of data set or this particular image, through learning what it has been fed, then you begin to find out, oh, this is a dog, and this is a man, and these are the features that differentiates a man from a dog, and these are the features that differentiates a dog from a cat. I said these models use complex neural networks to understand patterns in data and produce human-like outputs. That's what we've been saying all day. We have mimicked what human neurons. When you talk about the human neurons, how does the human neuron lens? When you look at the Bloom taxonomy, it talks about the cognitive, the affective, and and um, uh, and the psychomotor. That is just what we are doing. We are trying to train a system, trying to train a system to what? To produce human-like output. And that is why when you type on your chat GPT and you say, hello chat GPT, it says what? What do you want me to do? Just like reacting to you, you say hello, it says I back to you. Because what the system have been trained on patterns, on responses, on okay, these are greetings. And that's why if you go to your chat GPT now and you type in your local language, you find out that ChatGPT will tell you, are you speaking to me in so and so language? Maybe I'm speaking French. Then it replies you back. If you say yes, it starts conversing with you in French because it has been taught to recognize patterns, label by label, batches by batches. And examples I said is your chat GPT, your chat GPT is good. You know about the DAL E and what and your GANs. The evolution of generative AI. Early days, we are having a what? Rule-based generation. When we started, yes, you have things like chatterbots and the Eliza. You need to feed in instruction, you get the instruction, then it processes it, and it gives you the output. In fact, the output is already known. So when you say rule-based, number one, you need to do this. If number one is not properly done, rule number one is not being followed properly, then you can't go to the next rule. So it became very cumbersome. People had to it's labor intensive. You need to sit down for hours to do a lot of so that the system can understand that I have to pass step one before I go to what I go to step two. So that was a rule-based generation. Then breakthrough came when Hein Goodfellow in 2014 came about what GANs, generative what artificial networks, realistic image synthesis, whereby a system can pick up an image that is even deformed and look at it. Okay, if the future of the left hand side looks this way, then it means that if I can reconstruct it to make it look, and you see those kind of things, it took lots of what thinking capability, and people came and said, okay, rule-based generation is just too much. I missed step two, and everything goes to waste. How don't you have a system that we've taught based on patterns? You teach a system on patterns, and you can tell it, oh, please do this for me, and it does it. And that's why you find out that if you are good with this AI, generative AI, you find out that somebody can sit down and write a project of 300 pages in just less than few minutes. Then 2017 came in. Then we started talking about transformers. It's a language modeling at scale. You have your BATs and your GPTs. There are a lot of GPTs, not just your chat GPT. They are everywhere. You find that it came about what language processing. People looked at it. I'm trying to explain to somebody. I want to teach people. I'm going to take a lecture. I'm just going to France for the first time. How do I communicate with them? How do I do that? And you find out that somebody has a translator that just You speak in English, and all of a sudden it's converting it to French, and you don't even need to go pay a translator just like before. Then 2001 to date, we have diffusion models, high quality images, and what audio generation. You just sit down on your seat here where you are, look at it, and all of a sudden you are creating fantastic images, editing. You find that all those AI made movies and skits, and you wonder, it begins to question what is going on. Are you sure this is real? I saw something about Black Panther, and it was like Black Panther 3, and somebody, I was so engrossed, I was just looking at it. All of a sudden, I just looked at the image and I was wondering, somebody was holding up a camera, and what they were looking at was below. And how can you put your camera up this way, and what you are looking at is below? Immediately I said, oh my God, AI. And I just laughed. So those are the things you see people come out and just bring out things, and yes, it's just so fantastic. You look at the issue of graphic design, you see people develop fantastic design, and you're like, wow, this person went to the school of graphics design. Fantastic. Just tell me, some people are just sat down in their room there, and all of a sudden, with generative AI, they're working fantastic. Then you have open AIs, yes, and others. Your GPT-2, GPT-3. Now we are the era of GPT-4. You have your Mid Journey, your Stable, Diffusion. Okay, then generative AI. Just talking about generative AI, when I started, we are looking at myths and facts, misconceptions about what generative AI. When you look at myths, somebody said this, some people say they are fully autonomous. How true is that? How true is that? Fully autonomous? Is it possible? Are they fully autonomous? No. The answer is no. I have programmed the system to do something, and it means that it has what? It has fed on on what I've given it, the data that I've given into it. So it can't be fully autonomous, because there are times whereby you develop a set of a model, and you find out that your model is not generalizable. What I mean generalizable? Fine, I train a model, I have my train data set which are split, I have my test data set which I've done. I train the model using my training sets, then I test on my own. Funny enough, somebody comes with an external test data. You find out that my model, when I was testing using my own test parameter, that was working at 97 accuracy, or area under the curve of 92 or 93, goes into a new data is being fed into it, and it's giving you 67%. And you're wondering, my God, what is going on? Because somebody trained the data on trained the model on a particular data set. So it's not fully autonomous. So what do you do now? You bring those data and say, okay, give me those your data set again. I begin to retrain the system to say, okay, not just identifying only my own data set. Now you need to identify what other data set. The another myth is AI will replace human jobs. That's a very funny one. My professor will tell me, my affiliate professor, Anna Wardwood, he said AI will never replace humans. It will not replace jobs. He said only those that learn how to use AI, or that learn how to use AI tools will replace those that will not. So it just streamlines your tax. It will generate job, but it's a global village. So the way things are moving now is that everything is tending towards AI, and that is the reason why everyone must acquire the skill. But that AI will replace human jobs, that's a very big fallacy. It's so funny. You find out like films like Terminator, the Genesis, and it says Skynet. Skynet left on its own, and all of a sudden, before you know it, Skynet had a consciousness, and it came up and wanted to destroy the human Earth. Fine. It looks so funny, but we'll get to that later. Then it says that AI is meant for only big tech companies. That's a myth. AI is not meant for only big tech companies. AI is for everyone, accessible to businesses of every size. You can be in your room and be a graphic designer, and people will wonder, oh, what is going on? What is going on? So AI makes us our task easier. Then everything, say it creates anything without limitations. Oh no, like I just explained it now. It is data dependent. That's what drives its performance. I use my model for an example. It is what data dependent. If you don't give it if it learns on a particular set of data set, and you introduce a new data set it hasn't been trained on, it will surely what? Fumble. That's just it. So it is not what? It doesn't just create anything without limitations. Then look at this one. Are these sentient? That was it. Somebody said, he said what? They are capable of sensing and feeling. So they are conscious and aware. I was giving an example of Terminator the Genesis, where they say Skynet just took over, and that's it. Somebody once said, he said, the moment we teach machines to feel is the moment we must ask ourselves what it means to be human. Exactly. Then why are we existing? If we want machines, I heard people talking about a comfort bots, companion bots, and things like that. AI cannot replace human. It's as simple as that. Say, but we must think of it. Then what does it mean? If not for human connection and what we've met and interaction and collaboration, you won't be here this evening and I won't be sat here. So somebody thought of it and says, "Oh, there are loads of people out there that need to hear this. There are loads of people that need to be informed, and that's where there's a connection." There's somebody then discussion in ethics and AI philosophy, one of the groups that I would love everybody to join. It says an AI that mimics emotion is not sentient. It is a mirror reflecting our humanity back at us, not a soul looking at. It is what you have fed it. You have designed data to look like, talk like me. I can design a chatbot that speaks like me. All I do is that I just tell people do a demographic or yes, and tell people, okay, please, I'm going to share you this questionnaire. Please just write my mannerisms, everything you think, the way I talk, the way I do that. Then I train a system. And when you talk and I put it as okay, I'm going out. Anybody calls, pick up my phone and talk. And you wonder, or you chat up the person, and it begins to chat like me, and you're wondering why? No, because I've trained it. What are my slangs? What are the things I say? So AI is not sentient. AI has no consciousness. It is just a mirror. It's like garbage. And you know the first thing you learn about computers, garbage in, garbage out. That rule still was still stands. Then generative AI, the fact, ChatGPT does not have awareness or emotion. It predicts the next word based on patterns. OpenAI said that. It's as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. There's no awareness. It doesn't know if you want to commit suicide or not. It just works on patterns that it has been trained on. All right. So let's move on. Okay, what are the benefits of a generative AI? Because this is where we must look at the digital opportunities. Number one, there's scalability. There's scalability. You just find out that what things are the way it should be. You can actually scale a content. Somebody tells you, in fact, the issue of quality assurance, exactly. Quality assurance, a work is being refined. You are about to submit something, or about to create a content. You can scale based on global standards, and that's why you find out that people sit on their seat at home and they are working for companies in the UK, in the US, and Canada, and things like that, because AI has given the opportunity for you to what to be able to create content, to model content to what to meet global standards. Then automation and efficiency. Just imagine, now we are all in the comforts of our rooms, or wherever we are taking this class from. Just imagine that everyone online has to come to class tonight. How would that be? Just imagine that we all have to come to class tonight, and every one of us sitting down there. Just imagine how the room will be filled up. A lot of you will not even hear what I'm saying. Maybe we even have the best of public address system or things like that. But you can see everyone is sat down at your own comfort zone, and things are working fine. So there's efficiency. I'm here at my own end here also. There's efficiency. Then content generation. You can generate content at your own word, at your own ease. You find that people mix music, You find that you say, oh, look at this beautiful music. Somebody is just home there with his AI infused mixers and things, and it just combines tunes together. And you're wondering, oh my God, this is fantastic. It's just done on a table. In fact, maybe the table is 1,500 naira, or let me just use it $2 or $20 or 20 pounds, and it's just there. And it produces a music that wins Emmy Awards and Grammy Awards. Fantastic content generation. And you look at the issue of data analysis and insight. This is one of the lovely things. Over the years, if you know the amount of data we have generated in Africa, you'll be scared. Data analysts can bear me witness the amount of data sets that has nothing. We are just generating data sets. And AI has been able to help us now to what? To analyze data set and what draw out inferred meanings, draw out insight. Not only just data analysis itself, when you look at the area of data science, we can now build models that can solve medical issues, models that can solve, models like fraud detection. Like my work, I work on. I'm working on classifying sickle cell anemia severity through using chest X-rays, and I'm building a model that can actually first what will the model do? The model looks at a set of chest X-ray. You have normal, you put everything together and unsupervised way. It looks at it and learns patterns. Okay, anytime I see a chest X-ray that looks like this, it's somebody who doesn't have sickle cell anemia. Then he looks at the other one. Oh, this person has sickle cell anemia. Then he picks the sickle cell anemia test history and looks at it. Okay, what disease is so resident in such person with that kind of sickle cell anemia that can cause issue for that person in future? And it sees something like acute chest syndrome. Then it goes a step further to now look at it. Okay, the acute chest syndrome that this individual is suffering from. What is the severity level? Is it at 0, which is mild? Is it at 1, which is normal? Is it at 2, which is very severe? And this helps what informs the clinicians to know, okay, in the next 3 months or 3 months, this person is going to be having a crisis that's going to involve what the chest acute chest syndrome. Then you look at it says cost. It says cost. I remember when we started, when you want to put you have to have, but look at the beautiful flyers that incubator or pushed out, beautiful graphics and things like that. Before you need to go and pay somebody a graphics designer, then it designs it for you. Then cost. You might have to get to his place almost like 5 times because from one correction to the other, you are there getting no, this is not what I want. You can sit down now and do that yourself. Then you see natural language understanding. Yes, that's one of the best part I love so much. I may not be able to speak French. I can just get a translator. And you can also see AI models that also even teaches you how to speak languages. AI like Duolingo, the Duolingo. So these are benefits that you can pick out. The benefits are so vast, but what is the transformative power? And those are the 4 things I actually picked out here. Transformative power of generative AI, creativity boost. Because that's one of the things. Creativity boost. It helps users to brainstorm and create content quickly. That's one of the things. You have an idea. It's like the idea is hanging in your brain. There are sometimes you have brain freeze. I have something very fantastic, but to communicate this is a problem. So I just look at it and say, okay, ChatGPT. I'm thinking of building a model that can do head count or something, but I'm stuck. What do you think I should do? You push that into ChatGPT, and before you know it, all of a sudden, ideas just flowing. It just gives you suggestions, a lot of suggestions, and you're wondering what is going on. Automation again here. It says streamlines repetitive and time-consuming task. Yes, I use this GitHub Copilot. Yeah, sees what developers to or to suggest code. It doesn't mean you might be writing a code and all of a sudden this brain is you go through a layer of things. There are times there's brain freeze and you are writing a code that you have been doing before, and all of a sudden you get struck and it just tells you, are you talking about this or this? And all of a sudden you just click your tab and you go. Then innovation enables rapid what? Prototyping and experimentation. When you look at the runway ML for video editing, very fantastic too. Very fantastic too. Even as a beginner, you are just there. You pick up a video and you are just editing. And that's how you find out you see TikTokers and people are like, how come everybody on TikTok? Because AI has made what? Has made this possible. Then the issue of personalization, the power dynamics and tailored user experience, especially in e-commerce. As I said, scalable. You just okay. Mr. A says, I want my product this way. And Mr. B says it's the same product, but Mr. A wants it this way, Mr. B wants it another way. AI will just help you out. You know, okay, how do I do using the same? Then it saves cost also. How do I do this? Then you just the AI just generates an idea for you and does it. Okay, this is this specific pattern for customer A, and this is the specific pattern for customer B. And before you know it, yeah, people are saying, "Whoa, you're wonderful," and things like that. So AI-driven products recommendation. Those are very fantastic. You know, if you are so conversant with Netflix, you are watching a movie and all of a sudden you just see a notification saying similar movies and things like that. And if you are not careful, before you know it, in the span of 3 hours, you are watching about 2 movies that you didn't plan for. Because AI driven what product recommendation. A lot of things again, application areas. art and design, your music composition. We talk about content creation, virtual words, fashion and design, fraud detection, healthcare diagnosis and prognosis, demand weather forecasting, customer behavior analysis, and financial forecasting. A lot of them, they are inexhaustible. Inexhaustible benefits of what generative AI. Then what are the some tools also? I just listed some of those sectors, and we can see some tools. I'm sure the slides will also be shared with us. So you can look at the .E that generates images from text prompts by OpenAI. So fantastic. You look at the Mid Journey, AI-powered art generation with what stylized what results. Then look at Iva, composes original music in different styles. You just have a lyrics in your head and you are wondering what tune do I need to use. Just upload and do that. And before you know, you just compose. It tells you, okay, this is where the tenor, this is the part the tenor guys are going to sing. This is the part the auto guys are going to sing. And you're wondering. In fact, most of the times you find that people say, ah, they use auto tune. Somebody just sits down and mix one fantastic music, and you're wondering. There was this music this guy did. I don't know, is it Toloban? I saw it during the Ramadan. I was like, fantastic. Somebody just sat down and he just thought of it, Ramadan this thing, and he just look at the way. I'm sure when I look at it, they didn't go to studio to even do anything, because you see skits on them. In fact, that what made me started watching his skits, and I saw that it's one funny guy. He just sat down using AI tools and he just brought out that beautiful music, and look at the views he has and things like that. So it's so fantastic. Look at the world of fashion, content creation, finance. In fact, finance has really helped. There are times whereby you are trying to balance some trial balances and accounts, and things are not working. But you just throw it inside an AI tool, and it just picks out what the debit and the credit part, and all of a sudden your work is balanced. In fact, it even draws insight for you and tells you, okay, this is what you have done right, this is what you have not done, you have not done right. Then you have healthcare. In fact, that is fantastic, and that is one of my major areas. Healthcare. You look at this Google Deep Mind AlphaFold, predicts protein structures, aiding in drug discovery. You have the IBM Watson Health, AI giving insight for what patients and care. Then in education also, in fact, a lot of in fact, that's Camingo. I don't know if you have used Camingo before. Very good. GT Power Tutor for personalized learning. Very fantastic. So a lot of what? A lot of tools that you have available there to do a lot of things. Then generative AI. What are the challenges? Despite his promise, it poses what several challenges. But we'll look at these four basic challenges. Number one, there's misinformation. You find out deep fakes of celebrities. I was telling you, I saw Black Panther part three. I was so excited. Oh, I said yes. Now they were talking about one of this Nigerian guy. I can't remember, is it Damola? What's his name? This is coming up as a Tichada or something. I was on. It was all of a sudden I noticed the way the person I was taken somewhere in a scene. What they were looking at was below, and it was up there. I just was like, wow, what's going on? No, this is AI. Just started laughing. So there are a lot of misinformation, people using it for very wrong reasons. AI has come to what? To boost the what? Our creativity. It's not to cause issues of misinformation or moral, immoral, and all these things. It's just to aid you. Then look at it, creative dependency. That's one of the problems. Over reliance on AI for ideation and content creation. You must be very, very careful, because if you are not careful, you find out that somebody who is fantastic in coding, all of a sudden just looks at it and says, okay, I can put everything on ChatGPT. You lose that your relevant skill. So yeah, that's one of the challenges. Creative dependency. People no longer want to be creative through their minds anymore, and these are mind. If you don't allow the mind to work, it starts dying, and that's where one needs to be very, very careful. One of my professor, very wonderful, my mentor, he tells me, he says, Jide, you know what I do? He says every year I enroll for one exam or the other to keep my mind sharp, and I learn from that. So he puts himself on the hot spot, because if you're not careful, you just realize that what you are just relying anything. In fact, you want to people as funny as it for those that are clerics. You see them even going online to ChatGPT to develop messages that should be only ghost inspired and being AI inspired. So we need to be very, very careful on that. And there's quality control also, especially ChatGPT. It may sometimes generate inaccurate information. such as hallucination. Yes, it just hallucinates, and just after what it has learned, okay, since I don't have enough of the information, let's just join some things together and think this, and you just find out that if you don't go and check, somebody someday. Okay, all right. Uh, Sorry for the glitch that we had. It was just a bit of a network issue. So let's go back to where we stopped. I hope everyone, if you can hear me, just give me a eye. Let me just see eye so I know that everybody, you're back live. All right. Okay, I can see we are back. Thank you very much. That's good. That's good. All right. So we're talking about the challenges of generative AI. And I stopped at quality control when I was talking about hallucination. Hallucination. So I said it gives fictitious data set. Then we went straight to bias. We're talking about bias. Amazon once created an AI recruiting tool that was biased against female applicants. And why? It's a simple question. We already answered one of the myths that AI is not sentient. AI has no consciousness. So, based on whoever has created the model, based on the person's personality, because one of the things I've noticed is that when you're actually training or creating a model, if you are not careful, you tend to put part of your patterns your kind of personality into the model. So whoever created that model that brought about bias must have been a racist or something, or somebody who is what, gender biased. So that's one of those are the major, you can look at it. The four major things I've noticed is misinformation, you have creativity dependency, quality control issue, and then what, bias. There's always a bias with that. So and there are other things also. You have a profanity charge changes. I've talked about bias, we've talked about hallucination. Then there's always intellectual property infringement. Yes, AI just goes into it searches the web. Some of them just picks what issues, works of people, and brings it together for you as your patent work. Whereas it has stolen what somebody's intellectual property. Then there's the issue of privacy concern also. How 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 can we what mitigate against privacy concerns? Look at the issue of the deepfake I was talking about. The issue of deepfake, picking somebody's picture and merging it and causing a scandal, and you're wondering until it takes very, very high intelligent guys in AI also able to detect between. In fact, some deep fake, if you're not careful, they look like what? They look like real. Then you have manipulation and impersonation, just like what I said. I can train an AI, I can train my model to be able to behave like me, or in fact, I can train my model to behave like our moderator, and you think you are chatting with the moderator because I've trained the system to learn the patterns in which the moderator is actually teaching, or how he speaks, his mannerism and things. And you're chatting me and you think, oh, this is our cell master, our cell moderator, is the one talking to us. This is our group moderator. Whereas I must be the one that have actually was been able to program based on some particular features that I've seen in him, based on the way he talks or the slangs and things that he says. Then you have unintended consequences. Yes, when it comes to the issue of plagiarism, if you're not careful, you get, and the way plagiarism goes now is becoming a very, very what, a very, very key issue when it has to come to what, producing originality. I took a course about a month ago when I was talking about reproducible AI. Reproducible AI. Can your project, can your research or whatever work you have worked on, can it be reproduced using the same data set, the same conditions, the same parameters that you have used, and we will get that. So you can see that people falsify information. Information. All right. To slide 17. What are the ethical issues? In fact, these are the four ethical issues, major ethical issues. The first one is intellectual property. So artists have sued AI platforms for training their copyrighted works without their consent. Yes, there's this boy that I saw recently, this little boy that they use for the meme, that is always laughing when they say very funny things. He creates a very funny meme, and they use his meme for the laughter and things like that. I saw the boy. The boy was in a deteriorating condition. One of his arm is already paralyzed, and I think he has infection and things like that. I was talking to one of my colleagues and I said, if this boy was, well, if he had somebody like a lawyer or somebody who had um pen down this as his intellectual property, all he needs to do is just to go on AI, search for people that have used his meme without his consent, and he just charges them ₦1 million. That's fantastic. By the time you look at it, go and check. Almost 200,000 people would have used his meme, and he will just make his money. You are wondering. So it's just so funny that you people. So that's the thing. Intellectual property. Then you have the issue of plagiarism. AI generated academic work raises concerns in schools and universities. Yes, I was at one of the defense. Yeah, we call it defense for our PhD, and there was this lady, very good, and she came up with this fantastic work, and she was presenting her results. All of a sudden, one of our lecturers just said, "Everybody, hold on. This work has been done before." We're like, no, she has done her proposal. I was there when she was doing her methodology, so I don't think so. All of a sudden, she just brought the old document, and it was just so it was so embarrassing. Everything from abstracts to the even to the results to the models that were used and everything. It was just and that's it, plagiarism. So you find that people just and what AI does is that it just picks knowledge from everything it finds online and mixes it together to give you what you want. So one needs to be very careful. Issue of originality. Then privacy. Some image generators have produced photos resembling real people based on scraped data. Yes, if you are conversant with a web scraping, do web scraping, you can scrape data on the web and use it for a lot of things. An issue of privacy is very, you see, there's this lady I saw recently that was crying, and they said that her sex video was released. So I had to read up and say, well, what was actually going on? It was later I realized that it was somebody else's. In fact, the person came out and said, no, why are you giving her the accolade? That is my video, and that is she's not the one there. And it's true when you look at you find that you look at it and say, wow, but somebody's life has already been destroyed. Then we talk about bias and then fairness. In 2003, specifically, image generation tools were criticized for reinforcing racial and gender stereotypes. Yes, yes. Well, sometimes you look at it and you want to search on the what's it called? Just you Google and look for people. You'll find out that even in Nigeria, instead of it to come out with people that look like us, it comes out with people of different color. Maybe until when you refine your search and say black people, and it brings out. In fairness, when you put people, you should mix all races together. It shouldn't be a particular race. So AI must not be biased because AI is not for a particular race. So it must be fair in judgment, fair in whatever is being used for. Then what are we looking at? We are gradually getting to the end of our class. What do we look ahead for? The future of generative AI depends on this responsible innovation. This is what I think. There might be other things also. I might be wrong. But number one, there has to be a regulation. There's an EU standard act that asks before, but it asks for just EU. I believe they should aim at setting global standards for ethical AI use. I was at a meeting in Mauritius last year, and when we were talking about ethical AI, I was opportune to be part of the group for ethical AI, and a lot of issue coming up about especially in Africa. When should I use this? It was later I found out that when you are talking of those of us that work in the health sector, both data scientists and radiologists, you know that it is if it is a crime, I would say yes, you can be prosecuted for sending patient data just through WhatsApp. There are mediums for sending some sets of data sets. You can't just take patient data set and send through WhatsApp to somebody and say, okay, I'm sending it through WhatsApp. Please use it for your model and things like that. There are mediums. There are mediums that has to be followed. There are ethics that has to be followed. So there are process, and that's why when we are working for those of us that are data scientists working on what's it called on diagnosis and things like that, there's an MOU that needs to be signed that if anything happens to this set of data that's been given to you and a lot of things, I will stand to be what prosecuted and things like that. So there has to be regulation when and when not to use AI. And that I think the University of Chicago is doing a very wonderful work. University of Ibadan too has also started that. You get the Dimash University, which is fantastic. Other universities like that, which is very, yes, Lagos State University also. So a lot of things like that to want to mitigate the use of what AI, because we want people to give us what give give works that have come out of creative minds. Yes, AI can support you in developing some content, but not solely dependent on AI. Then there has to be transparency. The need for transparent data usage. A lot of works that you find online, it's just fictitious data sets. And that's why you find out that we are submitting journals, the journal corporations or journal organization tells you what data did you use. If you send us everything that you use in performing this experiment, we want to be sure, that you have done the right work. And that's just it. Then issue of collaboration. I said companies like Adobe to integrate AI tools that what that assist rather than replace creative. Fantastic. Yes, you bring your pure ideas, you bring your raw idea. Then AI assists you to say, okay, what if? But not that completely people just come up with contents and it's just AI. You can even tell and I would like, oh no, this is just too over realistic if there's a word like that. But you just assist, not to replace what creativity, not replace creativity. Then, lastly, digital literacy initiatives like Google AI Essentials course to promote responsible use and understanding of AI. Yes, there has to be this digital literacy. You should know when to use AI and when not to use AI. Then, lastly, what next? What do we think we need next? I think AI is becoming more versatile, and the way it's moving so fast. We begin to see things like multimodal models. I believe somebody is already working on that. Models that can combine both vision, language, and sound. You see, I just said, for example, like GPT-4, maybe GPT-4 with a big vision. Then having personalized AI assistants also very fantastic. So these are things also. The way things are tending, a lot of things. Then you're having immersive creative tools, the AI plus AR or VR. Then regulation and responsible innovation. So this brings us to the end of our class for today. So thank you so much for listening. So I think over to you, moderator. And if you have questions, maybe you can also drop your questions on the chat and see how possible to answer them. If you have questions, you have questions, and just clarifications or things, then you can just
Thank
put
you
them.
so much, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
If we have any question, of course, the questions will
Thank you.
start rolling in. And Mr. Wole, I want you to know that one of the implications of today's class now is that you are trying to convince our students, because we have been seeing that a lot of them are saying, "Can I go for AI?" And for real.
Oh,
And for
that's
you, I'm just going to
wonderful.
say this to one of our students that are probably already thinking of changing their course to AI, maybe from data analysis or anything. First off, the change of course form has closed already. And secondly, Mr. Olu, and secondly, Mr. Olu can attest to the fact that when it comes to AI, it's something that everybody needs in their field. It's more like a generic skill that you need
Very
if
right. Very
journey
right.
that we are in this phase that we are, even as a young person in tech and all of those things, you need AI. It's something that has come to stay, and that is the reason why we at the incubator hub prioritizes we are going to be learning, right? And I'm sure that everybody has
Yes.
been able to pick one or two things. I saw one comment and the person was saying that I'm falling in love with AI already. Please fall in love with the course that you applied for only. Fall in love with the course you applied for only. And
Mm,
I'm very I'm very rest assured that in all of this journey, it's going to be an amazing time for every one of us. It's going to be an amazing time for every one of us. Be sure that all of our facilitators, they are very good at their own skill they are coming to train us on. So if we have one of maybe content or cybersecurity facilitator, I'm very sure that even somebody would say that let me change to cybersecurity. I'm not doing AI again.
You're
But
very right.
honestly
You're very
speaking,
right.
it's
Yeah,
been an amazing time. Thank you so much, Mr. Oluwole. We really
yeah, thank
appreciate,
you.
really appreciate. So quickly, I want all of the students to listen to this following announcement. It's very essential that you listen and pay close attention to it. So the first stop is that issues with the first LMS quiz, issues with the first quiz rather, we have not in quotes sent out the quiz to everybody to take. So be rest assured that both the first quiz that we shared earlier, it's not out yet. So don't panic. Just to say that. Then secondly, our LMS emails are not out yet. We realize that a lot of students of our students are already asking that they don't have access to the LMS link. Be informed that the LMS email is not out yet. And we also realized that some people already copied the link from our previous session and they already got themselves onboarded on the LMS. Please, if you fall into that bracket, I'm going to advise you that you don't take any further step on the LMS because we have not officially sent out the link of the LMS to the student. If you are in that category, you are simply telling us that you've already probably gone ahead of the necessary information you need for this training. So if you fall into that bracket, just hold on. Don't go further to take on any other application or action on the LMS. Just wait for our official email that will successfully onboard all of our students to the LMS. And also, community links and anything that has to do with community, we are going to send it to everybody once we onboard you all on the LMS. So for those of us that have issues with the community link, you're probably saying I've not joined my community or I've not joined the Telegram channel, I've not joined the WhatsApp channel rather. Be rest assured that once we onboard you on the LMS, you would have access to all of this link and it's just going to be a click away for you. Also, we are going to be sharing all the slide for the session on the LMS. We are going to be sharing all the slide of the session on the LMS, both the generative AI and also Mr. Akoji's class that we had last week. So please make sure we are informed that all the slide will be sent to the LMS once we successfully onboard all of our students. Most importantly, our attendance link is out already. Myself and one of my colleagues, by the time we looked at the back end, in less than 2 3 minutes, we already had over 1,000 responses. And that's a dedication that you all are already putting into this training. And want to say kudos to all of our students. Your consistency, your commitment, and everything is well acknowledged. But make sure that if you are yet to fill the attendance link, click on the link in our comment section and the description as well. And make sure you fill your attendance. Make sure you fill your attendance. Most importantly, today's quiz, we are going to be having quiz for today's class as well. But the quiz will be available and sent to our email. Once you see the notification on your email, just be rest assured that you can attempt the quiz. We have not sent it. We have not sent it. Today's quiz will be sent to our email once it is available. So you don't need to send any message to us for today's quiz. You don't need to reach out to maybe like the community team that you don't have access to today's quiz. Once we send it out, the community would communicate with every one of us, will send graphics in that respect, and also inform us that the quiz is now available. You can take the quiz on your email address. All right, I think that will be all for this evening. Please be informed that our next class is going to be on the 14th of April. That is next week, Monday. Our next class is going to be on the 14th of April. That is next week, Monday. So please be on the lookout for more information on on our email address and every other thing. And let me share this good news with us. All our facilitators are ready for us already. Yes, so they'll be around next week, Monday. We would have all of our facilitators live with us next week, Monday. Both the cybersecurity, AI, ML, content and copywriting, digital marketing, video editing, graphics design, and the others. All of our facilitators would be live with us next week, Monday. So make sure you don't miss it for any reason. Make sure you don't miss it for any reason. Now, I've been told by my colleagues to, because lock up on this, but I want to say it again. For those of us that you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we are coming after you very soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are saying it again. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I can see some people saying Mr. Yan is okay. It's not okay. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today's session. I'm super glad that you all were part of this session. And make sure you rewatch this video again. Make sure you rewatch it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. My name remains Iyanoloa Adeniji. It's been amazing having every one of us here. See you on Monday.